Okay. Mr. Gaffey will go first.
I shall be first. Bruce shall be last.
Mr. Gaffey will go first. Please hold your applause, and then when they're done, I just need like 30 more seconds. Okay? So, Mr. Gaffey, 3 minutes.
First of all, I'd like to thank the sponsors of this debate, Children First, the Record Journal, the Chamber of Commerce. Very nice of you to sponsor this debate. It's been a very good debate, I think, very informative. Thank you all for coming. Being state senator is not an easy job. It's a tough job. Hours are tough. Oftentimes I'm driving home at 4 or 5 in the morning after being up all night doing the state budget, wondering why I'm still doing this. Asked that question very deeply last winter. Do I want to keep on doing this? There was a hearing on February 2nd on the VOTEC schools. When it came to light, all sorts of problems that were going on with the VOTEC administration. No budgets for each school. Heating and ventilation systems that worked where in one side of the school you could wear Bermuda shorts and the other side of the school you had to have a winter coat on. Just ridiculous. No paper in the classrooms. No sand in the masonry shop. No wire in the electrical shop. I remember looking out at the Commissioner of Education and the then chairwoman of that subcommittee of the Board of Education for the state, in charge of the VOTEC schools, and looking at them and saying, my God, if you're not going to fight for these kids, who the heck is? And as I drove home that night, I made up my mind I'd run again. I'm running again because there's work left to be done. We have a couple of important projects here in the city of Meriden, the high schools being one, flood control being another. Having our hub site redeveloped to stimulate the economic activity of Meriden is a third. These are 3 big, important projects. I have a proven track record of delivering for back home on important local projects wherever you look at the district, in any town. In Middlefield, when Lake Bezic had sewage seeping into it from leaking septic tanks, under order from the DEP, and those Middlefield residents would have been charged millions of dollars, I stepped in with Buddy Altobello, who then represented Middlefield, and Charlie Albright, the former first selectman, and Rosa DeLauro, and we cobbled together a $3.2 million grant to help out those residents. Now, Lake Bezic is pristine, and the property values around Lake Bezic have risen exponentially. I did that by working with people on both sides of the aisle. I have a proven track record of being able to work with someone regardless if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. All I care about is getting the job done. There's a lot of work that remains to be done in the next 2 years, and I ask for your vote so that I can go back and finish this job.
Okay, Mr. Suzio has 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Connecticut is confronted with a financial crisis of unprecedented proportions. We are facing a budget deficit next year that is so bad that, again, if we laid off every single state worker, we'd still be looking at a $1 billion deficit. Our cash position, the state's cash position, is so bad that the treasurer had to go out and borrow $500 million just to meet the bills for this fall. You have to ask yourself, what got us here? Why is it this bad? And I'm sorry, it ain't George Bush's tax policies or capitalism. It was the fact that we were out of control for 20 years. You look at a graph, there's a wonderful graph put out by the Yankee Institute, and it shows state spending going up like this. State incomes going like this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if state spending, or anybody's spending, is continuing and growing at twice the rate of your income, you're headed for trouble. You don't have to be a PhD in economics to know that. But we've continued this reckless tax and spend policy for 2 decades now. And we've actually exacerbated it. It's now no longer tax and spend, it's borrow, tax, and spend. What we've done is we've mortgaged our children's future at the same time we pay for our current services. The securitization of the electric surcharge, as I explained to you before, is a good example of that. They continue a charge that should have expired, and then that's not enough. The extra revenues from that is not enough to take care of the current year's budget. So what do? They borrow against it for the next 10 years. They take every penny that you're going to be paying for the next 10 years, and they pull it into 2011 and balance the budget. Boy, don't I wish I could balance my book that way. They don't fund the teachers' the state employees' pension funds, $100 million, forget it here, $100 million there. They don't pay the medical benefit plans. You know, folks, it's time to say to these politicians, stop the promises. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Start funding the retirement security of state employees. Start paying and adequately funding for teacher benefits that we were committed to morally. No more promises. Put the money there. Now, if you're going to change policies, ladies and gentlemen, you have to change the people who've been implementing those policies. It's true. It's obvious that Tom believes in what he's been doing for 20 years, and it's what got us into this trouble. So basically, you've got to change the people who make the policies if you're going to change the policies. It's time. I think the country senses that. I think the state senses that. You need new people. The old politics, the old pork politics is dead. It isn't going to work anymore. We're broke. Face the reality, and let's pull our belts, tighten our belts, and let's face it with a brown bag budget. I ask you to give me the chance to serve you. You all saw me on the board for 14 years, and you saw how hard I worked, and I'll work the same way as your senator. Thank you very much.
I want to thank our panel there. They really asked some excellent questions. I really want to thank Sonia. This was a great format, but Sonia did a great job. And I really want to thank both our candidates for participating. Thanks again.